Hey everybody, happy St. Patrick's Day. This is Friday, and we're gonna do some art tonight. I've already drank quite a few Guinnesses, so I'm in the perfect mood to create art. Hope you guys are as well. Um, so I was thinking about doing Just Dave's dog picture that we had been talking about for a while now. Like I swear I'm gonna get back to it, but tonight I don't think I'm really in the state to be messing with watercolors, so I think I'll save that for next week, even though I kind of said I was gonna do it this week. Um, Tonight I'm gonna do a drunken Irishman in a pub and see how that goes. Um, I have some reference. I have a reference. I can talk. I swear I can talk. I can do this. So I have a reference photo on this computer. I don't think I have it on this computer, so I'm not going to show it. Hopefully, it'll just come through as I'm drawing. So the other thing I'm planning on doing tonight is as you can see, I have a very black piece of paper here. So I'm going to do I've done this once before, and I don't think it turned out very well. So I'm going to try it again. When I think St. Patrick's Day, and I think Guinness, which, by the way, got my Guinness right here, and I've got more under the table. So hopefully when this runs out, I'll just crack another one. Um, but I was thinking, Guinness, black and white. I'm going to do a black and white photo of a drunken Irishman in a pub. So I'm going to take a swig right now. So I'm just going to hop into it. I figure if I finish this up, I can still make it to the pub before St. Patrick's Day is over. So let's get to it and see how it goes. I swear I can talk. So I'm just going to start by kind of blocking out the shape of this guy. He's basically sitting at a table. He's got kind of a Guinness in his hand, which is probably going to be around here somewhere. I am using a pastel pencil, and I've got some white pastel chalk here as well. And then I also have a white colored pencil. So it's kind of a mixed media piece I'm doing tonight. And the only reason why I'm doing that is because the colored pencil shows up a lot better than this white pastel pencil does. Um, let's see. Also, I should say I'm using black construction paper here. They do make black multimedia paper, which I did a couple of tests earlier, and I find that this construction paper is garbage. It doesn't really hold the pastel very well. There's no tooth to the paper, but it's all I got, so I'm going to press forward with it anyway. But if you're trying something similar to this at home, I do recommend kind of actually going to the art store and picking up some black multimedia paper. So I'm kind of just blocking out where I think this guy's going to be. He's basically sitting at the pub. He's got a hat like mine on. So let me kind of get that going here. Now I wanted to do the white and black just to kind of like do a high contrast picture. So hopefully it turns out well. Like I said, I've only done this once, and it's always challenging because you're kind of working in reverse. You guys have seen a lot of the pictures I've done where I'm working in charcoal, and I'm kind of just putting in like rough stuff to show black. Well, here I'm doing the same with white. And oh, and what I was saying about it doesn't really hold the mark very well. I can easily erase it with my finger. So if I was, first off, if I was trying to like sell this or something like that, I wouldn't be able to because construction paper isn't archival quality. And the other issue with it is that, like if you put in sunlight, it does fade. So I couldn't sell this if I wanted to, but even if I wanted to like hang it on the wall, that fixant stuff we've been talking about would definitely be necessary for this, just because this paper doesn't really hold the pastel very well. And Dave, if you are in the chat or something like that, rest assured, I'm going to come back to your pup. It's just I don't trust myself with watercolors tonight. And it's a big old setup, and I do have like plans for later on tonight. So, you know, usually watercolors take a little bit longer than sketches. So he's got a white shirt and a tie. I'm not sure when this image was taken. I want to say I think it was the 1970s, and I don't know if things are different over in Ireland, but he kind of dressed up to go to the bar. He's an older guy too. Hopefully, I can get some of those older man facial features in there. Again, I'm not trying to be precise here, just making marks, trying to find where all the pieces go. Like he's got a sweater vest on, he's got a tie, he's got a basically a three-piece suit going. And just, kind of laying it out a little bit, figure out where everything goes, and then I'll come back and I'll worry about detail. So obviously he's got a hand, he's got fingers on that hand. Figure most people are out having a good time on St. Patrick's Day. I don't blame you guys. I was out earlier. I've actually been to the I went pretty early today. I didn't have anything else to do, so I'm like, let's go see if the festivities have started yet. We've got a pretty nice one where I live um, in Kentucky. The guy who runs it actually went over to Ireland, and he was kind of inspired by the pubs that he saw there. And when he came back to the United States, he thought he would open a pub like the ones he saw. And I think he did a good job. Now it is Kentucky, so a lot of rednecks and kind of a sports bar, but it's got the vibe. All I can say is the guy really tried. So I'm just using the pencil to kind of figure out where things are, and then I'll probably come back with this one here and make some more prominent marks. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. And I really hope I can get this guy smile in. He's an older guy. You could tell he's drunk off his ass. He's having a good time. And if I can get, I should have showed the photo, but I don't have it on this computer, and it's probably not a photo I'm supposed to use. I'm not gonna say where it came from because like they'll come back and get me, but I think I'm fine because I'm not copying it. There's no way that this picture is gonna come out looking like the original photo anyway, so I feel safe. Famous last words. These type of hats are always hard to draw, and I know I'm going to screw it up, but I'm going to try anyway. Hey, Just Dave. I'm glad you're in here. I am going to get to your puppy. I know I said that I was going to do it this week. I know that you don't care. You said that I can do it whenever, but I just wanted to say that I want to be in the right frame of mind when I work on it. Not like it requires a lot of frame of mind, but so it does blend very well on this construction paper. But also it's easy to kind of like just kind of erase it, which is not good. So I have to be very careful with this versus my charcoal pictures where I can just come in and, just have fun running my fingers over it and not have to worry about things disappearing. It does show up on camera pretty quick, pretty well. Jesus, I'm drunk. It does show up on camera pretty well, but here in person, it does look a little bit faded when I come in and, you know, put in marks. No, I erase things with my finger. That's what I meant. I can draw drunk. This is probably my fourth Guinness, by the way. I mean, it's not a very large glass. It's maybe a 12 16 ounce, 16 ounce. I'm gonna go with that. I don't know what that means if that's a pint or not, but my guess is it's probably not a full pint. So he does wear glasses, so I kind of want to leave some. So one of the challenges is that you're supposed to like leave in places where there's black marks. Now I do have an eraser, and in my tests it does erase pretty well, but I do want to kind of be a little bit careful and not fill it all in black. Like my scribble pictures that I've been doing, I don't think would work very well here. But I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. I'm just having fun. How are you guys doing? What do they do in the UK for St. Patrick's Day there, Dave? So as you can see, it blends really well, but the paper doesn't have any teeth to it, so it doesn't really like stick to the paper very well. Yeah. In my day job, I'm a software developer. I once built an entire project drunk off of bourbon because it had to be done on a pretty intense um, deadline. Yeah, that's what it's going for. It had to be done on a pretty intense schedule, and there was a fixed deadline. And I just kind of stayed up all night for a week, which is probably more than a night, and just drinking a bourbon. And I actually work pretty good, pretty well, pretty solid. So I do think that this is good proportions. So I'm happy. I'm happy with how I have it laid out. So again, he's got a really white shirt, so I just kind of, you know, put in a lot of that. The idea is that I'll use this pastel to kind of create the blurry parts, and then I'll come back with that colored pencil and kind of like maybe cross hatch in. Oops. I got this. I got this. So this is the head of the Guinness, by the way, in case like none of this makes any sense yet. Um, which I might have drawn too big, but you know, I think it's fine. And then, you know, I do like this. Like I love drawing on black paper. I really need to just go off and get some real proper black paper. They do sell it at Hobby Lobby, I think, or Michael's Crafts. I think they have it at both. We have both in the area. Um, I don't. I could probably find a real art store, but those are the places I go to. And I think I've seen it before, but it's like regular paper, but it's just black, right? So you have the same kind of texture to the paper, the same heavy weight. This is like super thin, and there is like nothing to it, right? There's nothing for anything to grip on. So you talked about sliding off the the face of the earth. This this pastel might actually slide off the paper. That's how uh, that's how challenging it is. But I like it. It's like you know, it's like drawing on a chalkboard, which I don't know if you guys did, but I did as a kid. And there's a coffee shop in town that has a chalkboard that their customers can draw on. Every time I'm in there, I draw a picture just for fun. It's usually nothing. It's like probably a horse or something because I'm trying to get in the habit of drawing horses. I feel like this guy needs a name. I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him. What's a good Irish name? Finnegan. I'm gonna call him Finnegan. So Finnegan here is um is a jolly older fellow at the pub. It's a long day. He isn't retired. He's still working. Probably I don't know. I'm gonna make this up. At the Guinness factory or brewery or whatever they call it over there. And they let him off for St. Patrick's Day. So he's sitting here at the pub having a pint, regaling us with stories. That's what I'm going with. Good old Finnegan. I think that's actually a character in a James Joyce novel. I was gonna do James Joyce. I've seen some really nice black and whites of James Joyce. Um, for those who don't know, he's a very prominent Irish author. I think I've only read one book that he wrote because his books are really dense, so they're hard to get through. But I'm a I'm a fan of what I have read, and I intend at some point in my life to read more. Oops, I don't want to mess with that pencil yet because that one's permanent. It's like the colored pencil is like drawing with ink almost because like you can't come back and erase it. And erasing is good when you're doing this kind of stuff. See, I can make sense. Erasing is good when you're doing this kind of stuff because it allows you to get those dark values back in there that you're kind of covering up with this pastel. So he's got a bit of a bulbous nose. I don't know if that's I like this. I mean, look at these marks. These are cool. This is how people should spend their St. Patrick's Day. So I don't want to put in too much detail because I'm still kind of finding where everything is. You guys you guys know the process here. You just kind of make a mess and then you kind of like decide as you go along what you're going to keep and what you're going to erase. So this side of him is all in shadow, which is a cool effect if you're doing this kind of thing where you're doing black with a white pencil. I'm a fan of it. And this is actually a really good photo to work with. Like I said, I think it was taken in the 1970s. It is a black and white photo, so all of that value stuff that you have to translate colors to is already figured out. You know it's dark, you know it's light. You don't have to guess too much. And you just kind of translate what you see, which is still a challenge. Don't get me wrong, this is still a challenge, especially when you're like having to think in reverse, like you're thinking in terms of highlights, not shadows. So I'm gonna try to make this circular. That works. Michael Finnegan. Okay, is that from like is that just somebody you know, or is that from like a James Joyce? I feel like there was a Finnegan, like Finnegan's Wake. There you go. That's the title of one of his books. Maybe that's where I got it from. And my in-laws had a dog named Finnegan, so I've always counted that as like an Irish name. But yeah, so yeah, see, I'm remembering things. All right, kids, don't draw drunk. If you're gonna drink, don't draw. Nah, this is fine. I'm not that drunk. Like I've built up a tolerance. I wouldn't be driving or anything like that. That's dangerous. Don't do that. Um, but as far as yeah, I don't even think my speech is slurred. But connecting thoughts in the head is a little bit difficult. Um, but I feel like I kind of built up a little bit of a tolerance to alcohol from all the bourbon I drink. So I think that I'm capable of drawing while intoxicated on this St. Patrick's Day, which is, you know, St. Patrick's Day. That's what you're supposed to do. Last name is Parnell, so I am a little bit Irish. My mom's done the genealogy, I think, and there's definitely some Irish in my blood. Hey, thanks, Angela. I really appreciate it. It's not quite there. I need to. I think at this point, I need to see if I can erase some of this stuff to create some shadow, because that's the other part to it. I want to make sure that I can do that. I did do a small test. Like I picked up the construction paper. Where I live, there are no art stores. I would have had to go on, you know, 20, 30 minutes to go and get a proper piece of black paper. So I'm like, well, I'll just try this construction paper and it works. But, you know, if you're going to do like a real picture, this is just me having fun on St. Patrick's Day. If you're going to do a real picture, you're going to need better paper because this doesn't really work so well. I'm making it work, but it's not really designed for what I'm doing. What was my point? Oh, yeah. So I wanted to test to make sure that I could come back and erase. And honestly, it's really easy to erase because, again, the pastel doesn't really stick to the paper. So he does have these like, he has these round glasses. I don't know, like, if that's just a style back in the 70s or what, but they're like almost completely circular. Let me see if I can add those. So that looks a little goofy, but it's a start, you know. It's a start. Don't grade me until it's done. And then even then grade me on a curve because I'm still learning. You know, I think I'm getting better. I think I'm getting better at drawing. Um, Certainly if you look at some of my recent stuff, it's not perfect, but it's better than where I started. And to me that's all that matters. But let's see. Yeah, his nose. This comes in here like this. It's a start. So I don't want to get too far into the weeds on the details and stuff because there's still more development of his of the overall big shape. So I'm starting to learn terminology as well. So like when you're drawing freehand, which is what I've been trying to do because I want to get to the point where I can like draw people in public. That'd be cool, right? Um, you the tips that everybody tells you is to you know, work on the big shapes and then come back and focus on the smaller shapes, right? So like the big shapes is he has a head up here, he has a torso, he's holding a pint of Guinness, and then you can worry about things like details and stuff. You know, like those charcoal pictures where I start with a big old mess and try to find a face in it. It's the same deal, except that in this case, I'm starting with like less big of messes, smaller messes. There you go. That's a word. Smaller. So this, I know I'm going to screw up this glass, but let me see if I can get some fingers in here. I suck at hands and you know what I like about drawing with you guys is you guys are very forgiving. Like I feel like if I was hanging out with a bunch of other artists, they'd be criticizing me more. Like I joke about posting on Reddit and people being brutal, but you know, occasionally you'll get the guy who's like, "You should have done this. You should have done that." It's like, well, I appreciate the constructive feedback, but also, yeah, I mean, I should have, I should have just printed a photo. I get it. I, I should have used AI to create my art. I should have just not even tried. Every once in a while, you'll get the guy come in. I guess he's trying to be helpful, but he'll just like throw out all this advice unsolicited as if you asked for it. That yeah, Reddit is brutal for real. Like I don't know, like maybe if you post a picture you did in the middle of the night when no one's paying attention, you'll get some upvotes, but otherwise, I don't know. Like honestly, this is my observation, and if there's a bunch of people drawing that post to Reddit, they may have a different opinion. But my view, or at least my observation, and it's not based on science. It's not like it's definitely open to other interpretations and criticisms and stuff. But my um, observation is that either you post something that is complete realism, so like you can see already that there's a little bit of style to this picture, right? Like a little bit of expressive expressiveness. Wait, expressive art. Yeah. So like I've been doing expressive art lately where it's kind of sketched or it's just forms and not like a lot of definition and so on. If you post that kind of stuff, I mean, if it's really good, people will give it some love. But if it's not perfect, they will criticize. Well, they won't criticize it, but they'll downvote it, and you won't get very many votes. But if you post something that's hyper realism, they love that shit. And I'm just not a hyper realism kind of guy. Um, I feel like if you're going to produce something that looks like a photo, just do a photo. Like, what's the point? I don't. I think I could try and pull off. I'm gonna try it sometime. Hyperrealism. I don't really have the patience for it, but I'm gonna try just to create something that looks like a photo. Just to prove that my criticism of the criticism is valid. That people do upvote a lot of hyper realistic pictures. But also, I don't really think that that's going to be my style as I continue working in art because I just don't get it. It's like if you want to create something that looks like a photo, just take a photo. It's like art is supposed to be expressive. That's my view, at least. I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe it's just a reaction to getting downvoted on Reddit. But no, like I do think that that holds up. That people should be people should make their art a little bit expressive so that it feels like art and all that stuff. Otherwise, just take a photo. Just have AI create your crap. All right, so this is gonna be challenging because there is a shape to this glass, and I might have drawn this glass a little bit too big, but I'm gonna try to. You guys know the shape of a Guinness glass. It's kind of tall at the top, or wide at the top, not tall. Um, let's come over a little bit, and then it kind of tapers at the bottom. Now, my glass isn't like that. Let's see if I can do this without spilling it. So my glass isn't like that, but the glasses you get at the pub, they're actually designed for Guinness, I think, and they are wider at the top and more tapered at the bottom. By the way, I know Guinness isn't for everybody, but I love it. It's my go-to drink or my go-to beer. Um, my go-to drink is bourbon, but you really shouldn't drink a lot of hard liquor. So when I feel like I just shouldn't have hard liquor, or it's St. Patrick's Day, I'm drinking Guinness. I do like some other beers. Like I like there's this big craft beer craze. I don't get it. I don't know the difference between all the different beers. Um, but I do like what, somebody else orders for me. I wouldn't know how to order a craft beer myself. Like I get the basic concept of an IPA. Cocaine Bear dressed as a leprechaun. Yes. How did that work out? Oh, they're not gonna know. They're not gonna get it because um Mid Journey is based on data set that wouldn't include Cocaine Bear because Cocaine Bear is a recent thing. So I think you're gonna have trouble with that. But that's hilarious. Yeah, Cocaine Bear is I don't think it would be included in their data set, which they pull from art sources like DeviantArt, probably Pinterest, places like that, maybe Reddit. So I don't think I made these glasses big enough. Let's see if I can get a fine point on my eraser. Kind of like make those bigger. But that's hilarious that you tried that. I don't know. I mean, maybe they do kind of because the story of Cocaine Bear. You should have tried Pablo Escobar. I think that's what he's named for besides Cocaine Bear. I love that movie. I love that story. I just love the concept of Cocaine Bear. I know that cocaine is bad and kids don't do drugs, um, but the story of Cocaine Bear is just so ridiculous that I'm glad they made a movie out of it, and I'm glad the movie's doing so well. So I'm just kind of like erasing some shadows that are in his face. It's going to be, this is going to be like an ugly face. It's going to look weird, um, but it'll get there. I feel confident of that. So don't worry about how things look yet. When in doubt, I encourage people to check out the time lapses I post because in those everything comes together a lot quicker, and people don't have to be so patient. So I feel like this nose should have come down. All of this should have come down. The hat shouldn't be as in the place that it is. But I'm just gonna go with it. The great thing about not showing the reference photo, which I really don't think I can because it's from one of those popular stock photo places. Like when you go looking for an old guy in a pub drinking Guinness beer, you're not going to find that at the free places. So I'm just not going to mention where I got it from, so that they can't track me down. I'm a I'm a artist pirate tonight. But I think it's going to. I mean, it's got all the same elements, obviously, because I'm using it as a reference photo. But it's going to it's going to vary significantly from the drawing. Yeah, that's what I'm going for, right? So like the old guy in the suit. I could picture this being James Joyce himself. Uh, this is what I want to see when I go to Ireland. I want to see an old guy in a pub drinking a pint of Guinness. In my mind, that is the authentic Irish experience. And I get maybe that it's a bit of a stereotype, but also, so what? This is what I want to see. Call your tourism bureau and just hire a bunch of old guys to sit in the pub for us Americans that come over and want to see an old guy sitting in a pub. And in my mind, this is like I debated what I was going to draw for St. Patrick's Day. There's the easy hanging fruit. So like draw a leprechaun or um, which is cool. I mean, I think you could make a realistic leprechaun that would be kind of awesome. And I mean, I didn't really want to do that, but I could have done that. Like just iterating the options here. The other one was, and I still think this would be cool. It's just not. It's just more work than I think I could have taken on in one night. Um, you could do, the Irish dancing uh, things like where you have the I don't even know what it's called, where they kind of like where they dance, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, the Irish dancers. Um, But I was thinking about the girls and their dresses, and the dresses usually have some sort of design on them and stuff, and that's a lot of detail. And in my mind, it would work out if you had the time to like really put all that detail into like the embroidery of the dress and so on. But I didn't really have that in mind for tonight. So when I all right, so what happened is I went to the store to get the Guinness, and while sitting in the Guinness parking lot, or not the Guinness parking lot, at the store parking lot, while buying the Guinness, because I had already drank a bunch of Guinness before, I was picking up more Guinness to replenish my Guinness, and I was like, oh crap, when am I going to draw tonight? And I was like, well, here's my options and stuff like that. And then while in the parking lot, I'm like, is there a black and white photo of a guy sitting in a pub in Ireland? And I'm like, yes, there's a lot of them. So I just picked one of those. And I like it. I'm having fun doing this picture. I think it's turning out pretty good. So I'm going to replenish my Guinness. Because this train ain't stopping. As soon as I'm done drawing tonight, I'm going to have somebody drive me to the pub and I'm going to continue the night. I can do this without spilling it. Yes. Most got there in their tractors. Is there like a big rural thing? There we go with the colored pencil again. I'm not ready for you yet, colored pencil. You're once I have everything in place. Why am I talking to my pencils? Um, oh, is there a big rural is there a big farm industry in Ireland? I would assume so. But it's so weird to think people driving around on tractors when, I live in a rural environment and I see people on tractors all the time. It's pretty because you want Ireland to be better. Like when you live in the United States and you dream of taking, that bucket list vacation somewhere, you want it to be better than where you're at, right? So you think about places like Ireland and you just want it to be more interesting than Kentucky. So you don't want to see tractors when you go there. You don't want to see. I mean, if that's what's there, I want to see it. I want the real experience, but you just don't want that to be the real experience. You want it to be like, I don't know, a bunch of leprechauns running around. You want a bunch of leprechauns dancing around in big fields of shamrock, saying top of the morning to you. That's what you want when you think of Ir- an Irish trip, Ireland. Yeah, I have seen a lot of the photos, and I'm suspicious of photos because like they could be enhanced or something just to make them look cooler. But all the ones of Ireland are just super green, and then especially the ones of the coast. Which one has the big white cliffs? Is that Ireland or is that part of the British? I don't know. Where's the big white cliffs at? The big chalk cliffs. That's where I need to go to get my pastels. Just break a piece off that off. Piece of that off. I swear I can talk. I got all kinds of words. The big chalk cliffs. I want to say that's I don't know. Like they're in that Robin Hood movie. You guys remember that? Hey Lorraine, how's it going? Happy St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, we were just talking about that. I hope to go to Ireland for real. This is an old guy sitting in a pub drinking a pint of Guinness. That's what we're going for tonight. Oh, the White Cliffs of Dover. Okay. All right, South England. All right. When you think of the United States, we're all just one big place. You don't know what Kentucky is versus Florida. I feel like if I were to say that Dover is part of Ireland, you guys do the same for us. We're all just one big redneck state. I know that's what you're thinking. You just lump us all in together. We're all just one big redneck country. Yep, lost my reference photo. I think this is turning out pretty good. Um, so now that I feel comfortable that his head's going to be here and his shirt's going to be here, I'm going to add some more highlights to his shirt. Actually, I feel comfortable at this point maybe doing those highlights in colored pencil so that they really pop out because his shirt is like stark white. It's almost like I don't know, his wife or something really put a lot of bleach in with the laundry. It's very prominent in the photo. So I feel comfortable going in with this colored pencil. For those keeping track at home, I have switched to the colored pencil. And the reason why I make that distinction is that the colored pencil, this is officially become mixed media. I can no longer call it a pastel picture. Um, the colored pencil is more waxy, and for some reason well, you can kind of see it. See how opaque that is versus some of these other areas. And then if I came in and tried to like, blend it with my finger, it's not going to disappear, which is cool. I mean, that's what I want, but it requires a bit of a commitment. Yeah, so if you do come to Kentucky, I can say that it's beautiful here. It actually reminds me of the pictures of Ireland. Even though I haven't been to Ireland, we have uh, we have similar features, especially in the rural areas like where I live, where you have a lot of horse farms and things like that. Like we have these horse farms and they're surrounded by like rock walls and stuff like that, very very like old-timey stuff. And it reminds me of the pictures I've seen of Ireland or maybe I don't know, Scotland or something like that. And I don't know why. There we go. Let me blend that because I screwed that up. Anyway, so like there's a bunch of horse farms around here, and if you're into horses and you come to central Kentucky, which is where I'm at, you'll just fall in love with it because there is a lot of beauty around here. Um, you drive an hour away and all you see is a bunch of cow farms, but around here at least, it's all horse farms, and you see the horses out there frolicking and playing, and it's just really pretty. I highly recommend it to people who enjoy horses, whether you enjoy horses that race or you're into like equestrian sports, like what you see at the Olympics or something like that. It's it's a bit of an experience to see all the horse farms around here. I'm a huge fan. I worked at like the a horse organization for 12 years. Only recently retired from that, and I mean, not really retired. I'm not retired. I still have a lot of work to do, but uh, I retired from working with them, and it's just all horses around here. I don't know what my point is, but they're the organization that works with the Olympic Committee for sending horses to the Olympics to compete in like show jumping and let's see dressage, all of those type of events at the Olympics. Speaking of which, UK usually beats us. Um, our show jumping is I don't know, maybe it's changed recently, but I know that we weren't doing all that great for a while there. I'm I'm spending a lot of time on this tie. I really need to be working on the face. All right, I'm going to move into the face. I feel like that's in a good spot. And I feel like this Guinness container isn't going to move much. So I'm going to go ahead and darken or lighten it in a bit. Yeah. So like honestly, I think that of all the states here in the United States, the most Irish state would be Kentucky. To believe, I mean, you know, I've been to a number of states in the United States, and I feel comfortable saying that. Um, I can't think. Well, maybe Boston, but that's just part of Massachusetts, not all of Massachusetts. I feel like Boston has a very strong Irish community, but in terms of like an entire state, I feel like Kentucky takes a lot of cues from Ireland. So there's some highlights on this bottle too. I don't want to mess with that yet. I want to just remind myself that these highlights are here. Maybe I'll come back to it. Maybe I won't. It's not the central focus piece, so like I'm not too worried about it. All right, I'm gonna come back and mess with his mouth some more, or his face in general. Kind of put in some, get some details going. And I don't have to worry too much about the details. I just kind of want to add some definition to his face because I feel like we're getting further along in this picture. His face should be more developed. And maybe I'll tinker with this. So he's got kind of a scowl here. I like drawing old people because there's a lot of features to their face, you know? Like, I can't wait to be old. Like, I'm going to have so many features. It's going to be awesome. Um, but yeah, older people have like a lot more creases, especially older men. Well, I guess women too, but I'm not sure I've done an older woman. I feel like that's a somebody was criticizing me recently for not drawing enough cats. I feel like that's a fair criticism. I've done a fair share of dogs, but I haven't done that many cats, which is a shame because I actually like cats. I really appreciate them. I have one of my own, and it's adorable. And I feel like that's a valid criticism. Like I should draw more cats. I've been doing like a lot of portraits of women lately, and that's just so that I can get better at that because like, you know, theoretically I might be asked to do like a commission at some point. So I really do enjoy doing people's faces, but I feel like I haven't done all the different types of faces that I should do. So this is a real treat for me, just not just because it's St. Patrick's Day and you know I'm drawing an Irish guy in a pub, which is awesome. But also it's a different type of face that I'm doing from what I've been doing, and it's good to challenge yourself and branch out. It might be. It's a lot of fun. You see that the details I'm adding are just more highlights to his face, which is I think it looks really cool. So you can see some teeth through here, and I think I'm going to try to put those in, but I don't know. I'm going to blur that out a little bit. Because... All right, so I think he needs some eyes. Um, but his eyes in the reference photo aren't open, so like he's laughing or something like that, and his eyes are closed. But I need to actually put those in there. So he's got yeah, yeah, kind of like that. Damn, Jeremy, you're actually good at this. He's got some crow's feet going here. I love impressing myself. Believe it or not, I actually go back and I watch some of these videos. I watch other people's videos, of course, but I also go back and I watch my videos and stuff because sometimes I'm amazed when things work out. I'm not saying everything does work out. I'm not being this isn't like being egotistical or anything like that, but sometimes things do work out, and I'm always surprised and impressed with myself when they do. Um, and I feel like that's okay. I feel like that's permissible. Like I don't feel like that's you know, I don't want to be a pompous asshole or anything like that, but I feel like feel like being surprised that your work comes out well is both, um, well, I mean, it is bragging a little bit, but it's also like, it's like the ultimate humble brag. You're saying that you're surprised that your work comes out well, which is saying that your work probably shouldn't come out well, right? So that's humble. Um, but then you're also surprised that it did turn out well. So you're acknowledging that it turned out well at the same time. So it's that is the ultimate humble brag, right? So add some definition to his glasses here, which I think I accidentally smudged out, or maybe that definition wasn't there to begin with. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Hey, thanks, Steve. I appreciate it, man. I don't know. I don't know if he's smiling enough. How can I fix that? Because one might look at this and think he died while drinking Guinness. I don't want to put thoughts in you guys' head because, like, you guys are going to be like, yeah, you know what? You're right. He does look like he died. I want him to look like he's smiling. Like, if he's dead, I want him to be smiling while he's dead. Let me kind of upturn the side there. Yeah, all right. It looks a little bit better. So I think that's done enough where I feel comfortable coming back with this. Let me sharpen this actually. Oh, I'm neglecting my Guinness. God, that's just so good. Not everybody's into Guinness. I was trying to get my dad to drink it, and he's like, "Oh, it tastes like coffee. It tastes burnt." And I'm like, "No, it doesn't. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be bold and flavorful, and it's a stout." But I understand not everybody is into Guinness, but it is really my favorite drink, my favorite beer. And here in America, it's not ordered as often as maybe it is in Ireland. So, you know, you get to be that snob, like, I'll have a Guinness. While all your other friends are drinking like some kind, like, I don't know, some kind of light beer or whatever. You get to be like, I'll have a Guinness. And you just sound like, I don't know, like you sound like a jerk, but I'm okay with that. So he's got a little bit of sag to his jowl, I guess. And then he's got a little bit of a um I don't know what the term is for this. We call them chicken gizzards. He's got a gizzard neck, which I'm not faulting them for it. All us guys get that eventually, but I want to make sure that that's acknowledged. So there is a slight man, I want this to be like razor thin because I just want to put like one little crease in here. There you go. Man, look at that. That's cool. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that tiny little crease in there. And kind of blend it a little bit so this not so obvious. Nice. I may not like this picture when I sober up, but right now I'm like, man, this is nice. And I really like that I chose to do this on black paper with white pencils because I like the effect. And it probably would have worked if let's see, his ear comes out around his nose and then back up. It probably would have worked out if I had done this in charcoal on white paper as well. But this is something interesting. It's something a little bit different than what I've done, and I like that. Hey, thanks, Tom. I appreciate that. Yeah, cool. All right, Zen vibe. Yeah. Uh, I hope that people are relaxed when they're watching these things. I know that I'm drawing pictures, it could get a little boring and stuff like that, but if you're getting a Zen vibe off of it, man, that's one of the best compliments I've gotten. Thank you. Not to diminish everybody else's compliments. I appreciate all the compliments. I appreciate the criticism too. Like some people actually have like really valid criticism, and that helps me learn. I actually do take some of the things you guys say and try to apply them. My skill level is where it is. I'm practicing. I'm trying to get better, but if there's something that I can apply, um, I am definitely interested in doing that. But be patient with me. I'll get better. I know that you guys are, when it comes to art, you guys are my boss. You guys are the audience. You're the critics. You're the people that I'm ultimately responsible for to. That's um, that's not like a big deal or anything like that. You guys really don't care. I'm just saying that, like in my mind, you guys are the people that I have to please, the viewer, right? So I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm drunk, but I think my point is that I am conscious that you guys are watching these things, and I want to live up to your expectations. So like when you come in here to watch it, you're trading your time. Here we go. All right, okay. I kind of know where I was going. Yeah, you're trading your time um, watching this for like a certain experience, a certain kind of like quality. And I know that you guys know that I'm not perfect, right? So I'm not going to create like masterpieces of art like Da Vinci or whatever. But for the time that you guys spend, I'm going to do my best. And I feel like that's a, I mean, you guys probably don't think this way, but in my mind, it's a sacred trust, right? So like, I don't want to let you guys down. Now, if I do let you guys down, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I'm going to try really hard to create a nice piece for you guys just because you guys were nice enough to give me your time so that I'm not sitting here drawing alone. Anyway, that's my point of view. That's the way I look at it. I look at it as like, I appreciate you guys. And and I am conscious that you guys are spending your time here with me, so I don't want to let you guys down. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like I dwell upon that stuff. It's not like I'm gonna beat myself up if the picture doesn't turn out right, but I'll just be like, well, all right, that didn't work. Sorry guys, I'll try again. But I'm pretty happy with this one. As far as old dudes in a pub in Ireland, it's like an old dude in a pub in Ireland. Old dude in a pub in Ireland to me. He looks drunk off his ass. So like the original picture, he's smiling more. He looks a little more somber here. He looks like he fell asleep while drinking. But that's okay. I don't care. It is what it is. Hey, thanks, Lorraine. I appreciate you. I'm glad that you appreciate me as well. And I do hope that everybody has a good time. But like I think you guys have a good time. If you didn't have a good time, you would probably just not watch. So seems to be okay. Kind of blur that out a little bit. Kind of a little bit of pencil marks in there. So I think this is looking good. I love the contrast. The last one I tried, please don't go back and watch it because it's terrible. Was trying to do Sherlock Holmes on a black background. I think this turned out way better. Don't get me wrong, I'm not done yet. There's still some work to do here. I don't feel like the hands have to be perfect, but I did kind of want to add some more definition to them. Just because they are in the shot and they are holding the glass. So, plus, it's good to practice with hands for me. I did a hand the other night when I was doing a woman's portrait, and I'm happy. Where's that at? One of these pictures back here. Um, I'm happy where the way it turned out, but it's definitely a spot that I need to practice with. Especially when I'm doing like a portrait of somebody, and um, a way to make a portrait interesting is to include hands. You don't have to. I could have just cropped it here and just done his face, but I want him holding the Guinness. So in this picture in particular, the hands are a prominent feature of the composition. So I kind of have to do it justice. It's not like it has to be highly detailed, but it's good practice anyway. So like, for example, this finger is longer than this other finger, and then this finger down here kind of wraps in. These are the things I'm telling myself. Drunk off my ass off of Guinness while I'm drawing pictures on St. Patrick's Day. Anyway, so like while I'm practicing, I'm like, oh, okay, they're not all the same length, right? So like all my fingers here are not the same length. This one is shorter, this one's longer, this one's longer. Well, this one's the longest, this one's a little bit shorter, and then this one's the short. Well, actually, both of these are about the same, but this one's a little bit shorter. So like, you know, practice will make perfect. There's not like a lot of definition to these fingers anyway, but it's good practice. It's good practice. And one day I will be a master at drawing hands. Well, one of these days I just need to sit down. I keep saying this. I feel like I've said this before, but one of these days I just need to sit down and just draw a bunch of hands. People do that, especially in sketchbooks. Um, I haven't done that, and I feel like people who went to art school probably drew a shit ton of hands, but I didn't go to art school, so I didn't. Um, like anything else, it's a minor miracle when my hands end up looking like anything at all. So out here in the shadows, there's not much going on, right? So I feel like I can kind of phone that in. In fact, that's probably too much highlight. I should have used this other pencil that I can kind of blur out. Let me try to blur that out anyway. Because like I just want kind of like a hint that the arm is there, because this is all lost in shadow over here. And same with up here. I want it to kind of I want you to know that he has a body, but it's not a focal point. In fact, I don't want it to I don't want you to dwell upon what's going on in the folds of his suit at all, right? So I'm going to put this in a little bit more than it is, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. And I think that's like the artistic discretion, or artistic whatever it's called, um, where you get to make those kind of decisions. What do you want the viewer to focus on? And this is why it's different than a photo. Like, sure, like a photographer can set up the model to be in whatever pose. They can like set up all the lighting and stuff like that. But it's a lot more direct when you're drawing the picture, because you get to choose what you want to focus on and what you want to ignore and kind of like blur or just like not even include. Um, AI art's not going to get you that. This is a human being thinking here. So he does have the sweater vest on, so I want to make sure that that's in here. It's already in here a little bit, but I kind of want to make sure that it's got a little bit more detail. It's got folds. And I'm just kind of cross-hatching these in because like they're not meant to be like super detailed. It actually forms the outside of that glass. Some of those highlights there, which I need to be a little bit careful of because it could alter the shape of the glass. And I do want it to like resemble a distinctive Guinness glass, because like at my pub, they do flare out at the top and then kind of taper down. So I feel like I captured that a bit. the shape of a Guinness glass. So there is like some reflection coming off on this side. Put that in a little bit. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it looking good? Kind of want to blur this out, but I don't want to lift that because again, this is construction paper. It's not proper black paper. So I feel like if I come in here and start touching it up to kind of blend it, it's going to lift that pastel off, and I don't want to do that. So there is a bit of a shadow. Let's see if I can get this in on this side of the glass. Yeah. All right, I'm going to go with that, even though I think that's a bit much. So let me put a little bit of that pastel back in. Thanks, Angela. I appreciate that. So I think I'm happy with the face. Maybe I can add some more highlights here in a minute. Maybe clean up that nose a little bit. Like I feel like he's got a very, very distinctive nose, as old guys are wont to do when they've been drinking all their lives. But I might clean that up a little bit. I do want to put, because this side is more in the shadow than this side, so over here I do have to kind of put some more structure into his, again, not a lot. I can just kind of cross hatch some lightness in here. But this side is more in the light than the other side. So it's one of those things that if I didn't do it, I feel like I would have not captured the spirit of the original photo, which, most of you guys hang out with me on like Discord. If you guys want to see the original photo, feel free to like hit me up. I'll share it. I'm just not sharing it here because I don't think I have permission to use it. And I kind of have a bit of a new channel here, so I don't really want to get in trouble with like copyright strikes or whatever. Even though I'm not monetized or any of that stuff, so I don't know. I don't know what the rules are yet. I only started this back in January. If I was just drawing this for myself and not doing a show, I probably wouldn't care at all about what kind of photo I'm looking at. But I don't know. I'm drunk. I don't even know what I'm talking about. So I feel like once I do this bit here, I have to be careful because any slight even touch of it will smudge it or like lift that pastel off. And that's not good. I feel like this is good enough. It kind of hints at like that he's wearing a three-piece suit. I love this white pastel on this black paper. I'm gonna go out to the store and buy some proper black paper at some point. I've got like a ton of sheets of this black construction paper, so I might use this more in the future. But at some point, I'm gonna go off and get that proper paper because it is archival quality, and like say if somebody came up to me and asked like, "Hey, I really like that picture. I want it from you," and stuff. I have to sit there and explain, "Hey, don't put it in direct light because it'll fade." I mean, any kid with who messed with construction paper in school when they were a kid, they know that you know when the teacher hangs it up on the wall, eventually it's going to fade. And like this will probably turn brown if it was in direct sunlight. At least that's what I remember from being a kid. Just smudge this out a little bit. Smudge some of this out too. Man, that's awesome. I love this. You know what, Jeremy? You did a good job today, I think. Thanks, Jeremy. You know what, Jeremy? I appreciate you. I appreciate you too, Jeremy. Glad that we see eye to eye. You know what, Jeremy? You're my favorite person in the entire world. I feel like we have a lot in common, Jeremy. Let's be friends. Sorry. I'm just talking to myself. I do that. Put some more highlight in here on his shoulder. All right, so I feel like from the neck down, he looks good enough. Let me see if there's any other things I want to do to his face. Well, so you guys have watched this show before. There's always this pause moment where I'm like, all right, what can I adjust here without screwing up the picture? Cross that, check that a little bit. So just, yeah, see. So what can I adjust here without screwing up the picture? I can add highlights to various areas of his face. I'm happy with his glass of Guinness. I feel like, I mean, that looks like a glass of Guinness to me. Plus, I don't want to draw attention away from his face. So the question is, what kind of details can I add to his face without screwing up this picture? Ah, that's good Guinness. That's so good. You guys need to go out and get yourself some Guinness and celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I'll let you guys go here in a few minutes so that you guys aren't wasting your time watching this dude on YouTube when you guys should be out celebrating. So this colored pencil is going to add some highlights to his nose. So that's not all just kind of like this one big mass. And then there are some highlights to his glasses. Kind of want to bring this fold in his hat and do like a nice little pinch. I feel like his hair is okay. It's just kind of wild coming out, but it is in the original picture too, so I don't want to go crazy with that. He just kind of stuffed it under his cap before he went to the pub. I honestly think that this is about done. I don't want to mess it up by overdoing it. Like I feel like somebody could come in here and criticize this a little bit and say I didn't really capture the values of the highlights and things like that. And I'd probably be the first to agree with them after I sober up and kind of like reevaluate. But no, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Yeah, might might actually be good. I don't know. I don't know if it's good until I post it up on Reddit. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna. I've learned my lesson. I stopped posting things on Reddit unless I'm like drawing a picture for. I have been doing portraits for people who post to like draw me as a subreddit. Um, and that's tactful. Tactful. There's a strategy to it. The thing is, those people aren't assholes. They're really appreciative that you're doing something for them. So if you screw it up, it's not like they're paying for it or anything like that. They're just happy that people are drawing pictures. So if you screw it up or whatever, they're not going to like give you a hard time. They're going to say, "Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It looks good and everything like that." So while I'm still learning and trying to like get better, I feel more comfortable posting those type of things. But I stopped posting to the regular drawing subreddit just because those guys, they're more experienced, you know, like probably this form of art has like there's probably like a term for it and they know all the rules to it and stuff and they look at your picture and they're like, well, you didn't do exactly what you were supposed to do. They might criticize me for using colored pencils instead of just doing it all in pastel or something. And honestly, I ain't trying to hear it right now. I'm still learning. So like I'm not participating so much in those type of ones. Not because I can't handle criticism. It's just it's unfair criticism while I'm still learning, in my mind, at least. But no, this looks actually really good. I like it. All right, so I think that kind of famous last words. I want to Tinker with it. Let me try to do a small crease here. All right, it's not perfect, but whatever. He's got like lines across his face, but I feel like this is as good as it's going to get on a St. Patrick's Day evening when I'm probably going to head out to the pub and have a few more pints myself. I hope to look like this dude someday. This is future Jeremy. At some future date, this is going to be me in some pub in Ireland, drunk off my ass on a St. Patrick's Day, remembering back to this video when I drew this picture. I'm gonna be like, hey, this is a future self-portrait. That's what I'm gonna call this. I'm gonna call it a future self-portrait. All right, so I do think we're done. Um, Let me go back to the meat. So I know that you have a lot of options on what to do with your St. Patrick's Day. So I'm glad that you guys. I don't even know how long this has been. Oh, it's only been a little bit over an hour, so that's cool. Um, I'm glad that you guys spent this hour and 15 minutes or whatever with me. I hope you guys like what I did here tonight. And if you haven't subscribed already, I encourage you to, so that I can bring more of these to you in the future. It helps out the channel. Um, but also give it a like if you like it. And again, I respond to every single comment I get. So, or I at least read every single comment I get, and I try to reply. Um, so if you guys have something you want to say, drop it in the comment box. I think that's all the house cleaning. Go out and have some Guinness. This is really good stuff. I love it. I feel like Guinness makes me draw better. I should drink Guinness every single time. Like, this drawing is, let me go back to the picture. This drawing is brought to you by the fine folks at Guinness. I'm just kidding. They don't even know who I am. But hey, thanks, kid. I appreciate that, man. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna call this a night. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your St. Patrick's Day. I'm gonna try to take a picture of this and post it up in the community tab here on this channel. And until next week, you guys have a good one. Let me go back to the. I have to do the signature sign off. I forget all these things. All right, enjoy your St. Patrick's Day. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.